Hi everyone. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. Hi Mike. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming back. Hi to everyone else that's here. So today we are going to go over some receipts to go along with not yesterday's video, which was the quick video, just an update from our CMP, but the video the day before where we went over the stuff here that you see on the screen. First of all, I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. I know many of us are dealing with heat waves. We are here. I don't think it's as hot today as it was yesterday and the day before, but it still is hot today. And many here in Canada and in the States are dealing with heat waves. So, yeah, not going to complain though. And yeah, so as usual, this is about Jack and Lily Sullivan, who went missing on May 2nd, last seen, according to RCMP, as you can see on the screen there, last seen May 1st, 2025. And if you're not familiar with the case, I would encourage you to go back through some of my videos or some videos, channels that I will list in the description. I put a whole list after the video. I'll go in and do this. But they're in the last two videos of a few other channels that are covering this pretty much daily as well. And it will help you to become familiar with the case. So the last time we were on, now today we're gonna, like I said, I'm gonna go over some receipts, and then I'm gonna touch on some stuff regarding Daniel and his mother Janie, and some things that it seems they're both saying that don't seem to be true. But they're both telling the same story, and all these receipts show that those things that they're saying are just not, they're not true. It's impossible for those things to be true. So, so like I said, two videos ago, the day before, or the video prior to yesterday's video, I had went over what you see here on the screen. So the fact that although Daniel states repeatedly, over and over and over, the last time the kids were seen, well, Lily was on May 2nd. Lily popped in and out of the room. You can see here on the screen that it clearly states the RCMP that put out the vulnerable alert. This was the intrusive alert that went out on May 3rd at 5. There was two that came out back to back, one at 5:26 and one at 5:27. I don't know if that was just some kind of glitch because they said the exact same thing. But you can see that it obviously says they were last seen in the highlighted area May 1st, not on May 2nd, as Daniel states. So we can pretty much, I mean, it's right there, right? It's right there in black and white, literally, and highlighted yellow. The RCMP say they were last seen May 1st. Hi, Carolyn. Thanks for being here, and thanks for coming back. Hi, Ginger. Same to you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming back. So, and then over to the right, that is Cindy's, who is Malaya Brooks Murray, the mother of these two babies. Cindy is Malaya's mother, and Cindy and Malaya had texts back and forth. And you can clearly see the timestamps on there where it states, so this starts off up top 11:33, I believe it says 11:30 something, and it's highlighted. Yeah, 11:33, and then Malaya is telling her park on side of the road. Now, one of the things Janie had stated in her audio, she was going on about this screenshot receipt from Cindy that, you can't see who the other person is talking. The little head's not there. It doesn't matter. I think we pretty much know it's Malaya. But outside of that, even if it was the devil, the timestamps are the same. Doesn't matter. We're looking at the timestamps, but I mean, obviously we can assume it's Malaya. Who else would be interacting with Cindy, right? On the day that her grandbabies have gone missing. So so May 2nd, it's the timestamps we want to pay attention to, right? So again, there's communication there at 12:01. Cindy's on her way. I'm on my way. So again, 12:24, she sends, now she would be driving, right, by this point, or I guess her boyfriend could be because he came with her. Send an Amber Alert. And then she sends another one right behind it. Tell the police to send out an Amber Alert. So, and I think that's sad. That's really sad because, of course, she's fearing they could have been abducted, right? So we can clearly see that Cindy's not there yet. The last message sent is 12:24. So Cindy is not there yet. So over here on the left-hand side, again, I just explained up top there about the RCMP saying May 1st, kids were last seen. That's the timeline they're going by, not what Daniel is saying, that he saw Lily on May 2nd popping in and out of the room. And then below that, you can see the timeline of when Malaya called RCMP at 10:01 a.m. Okay. And these two receipts, the one up top is mine. When that alert was sent out, I took a screenshot of exactly when it was sent. As soon as it was sent, I took the screenshot. So the time up top actually says 5:27 or 5:26, one or the other, because like I said, there was two of them that come out back to back, but around that time, one of those times. And the one regarding the 911 call and the text messages between Malaya and Cindy came from Cindy to Alana, from Alana to A Crime and Shame. And now I'm using them. Credit to A Crime and Shame, though, who showed them on her channel. And that's Sunny. Now, what I'm going to pull up, and after we go over these receipts, then I'm going to go into Janie's audio texts. I'm not going to play them. I went through them, and I went through them a couple of times, and I really, honestly, and I'm not trying to sound mean, I can't listen to them again. I really find them kind of unbearable to listen to. And I'll talk about that a little bit when we get into it. But what I did was pull some points out of it, and I'm quoting those points of what she states. But I will tell you a few channels to go to if you want to listen to them yourselves. And you'll hear exactly what I'm quoting, okay? Okay, so let's pull this up. Okay, so I had discussed on the last show regarding that 10, okay, thank you. I too struggle to listen to them. I know, Ginger. It's hard to listen to. My heart just breaks for Malay and those kids. Like, honestly. Oh, it's just heartbreaking. And I mean, those of us who have morals and, common sense, you can understand what I'm saying, right? It's just sad. Okay, so, yeah, so that 10 o'clock, I know it says 10:01, but I'm gonna say 10 o'clock, phone call to 911. So I had stated in the last video where I was discussing that how, Daniel said, I know, I feel so bad for poor Lily, yeah, the way she spoke of her is heartbreaking. Yeah, so I had stated how Daniel said, I thought he said that time's way off. But I said I would find the receipt and pull it up. Now, I hope you guys can see that up top. If you can use your fingers, if you can't see it, to pull your screen closer. It says, Oh, well, yeah. The first one says, I tell the truth. I had to put that one in there with they were together anyways when I cropped them, and instead of cropping it out, I left it in there because, I mean, what we're gonna go through here, and then we can come back to this first text, keep it in mind. This is Daniel, okay? This is Daniel saying this. You can see Daniel Martell over on the right-hand side with the picture. The picture's the same. I tell the truth, but I can't comment on anything that will harm the investigation. So just keep that in mind, what he's saying there. You know, he tells the truth. um, so then we come down to the one below, and he's saying Malaya's time of 10 a.m. is false. We can leave it at that, right? Because he doesn't want to get too far into those investigation details, you know. Anyways, so yeah, so that's why when on it's and these are all from It's a Criming Shame, okay? These texts. So credit to them, and that's where these receipts come from. So yeah, so that's when Sonny was kind of chuckling and saying, "Oh, you were right, Daniel, because it was 10:01." Anyways, all you can do is, I mean, it's not funny, but it is. Um, yeah, so I mean, no, her time is not false. It was 10 o'clock, 10:01 to be exact. um, and then and then below that, we see this is Malaya. So you can see Male. So this is between Malaya and Belinda. And Belinda says, "Are your neighbors close at all?" And Malaya says, "Not too close. We live on Garlock Road." And Belinda says, "I heard they are bringing in other teams to search, so hoping they're home soon." And Malaya says, "I hope so too. They've been missing since 9:40. She does not say she called 911 at 9:40, right? She says they've been missing since 9:40. So one can assume that that must have been when her and Daniel got up out of the bed, if that story is true, right? That's being told. Or thereabouts, right? And when we go through the information with Janie, you'll see where Janie touches on that too. And um, and where she she talks about how when she asked Malaya, how long have the kids been missing? And Malaya says 20 minutes, right? When so her and Daniel come out, they're looking for the kids, and Daniel's yelling for the kids, and they do the immediate search that any parent would do, right? You just don't jump out of bed and call 911. You're gonna check. I mean, when my son went missing out of our home, I checked all the closets under the beds, and then I went outside to start checking the immediate area outside. So could that take about 20 minutes? Probably. So yeah, so that was her answer to Janie, that they've been missing about 20 minutes. So 9:40 plus 20 minutes, that takes us to what time? To around 10 o'clock, right? So that's when she called 911. So that all adds up for me. I don't know anybody else, but for me that all adds up. um and but Janie also would say that it's 9:40 when Malaya called 911. And that's not so. That's not what she's stating at all. It completely adds up what she did state when you take all of it together, right? So they've been missing since 9:40. She tells Belinda they've been missing 20 minutes, and the time that 911 was called is 10. So am I wrong? Does that all add up? Am I the only one seeing that? um, I'll finish going through this, and then I'll take a look at your what you're saying there, guys, before we move over to Belinda's information. Okay, so then we go over onto the right-hand side, and I had talked about how Daniel was stating about the kids, that this all started with Daniel stating that he felt Malaya's mother had something to do with the kids being gone, and that they were taken off the property and that Cindy had something to do with it, right? So this is where this whole thing comes from, that Cindy was there 15 minutes after RCMP arrived, which I just showed you in the text through with Cindy and Malaya, that's not so. Okay, so that's, I mean, to me that's a lie. It's a lie. That's just not so. Why would you say that when that's absolutely impossible? That's just not so. Um, so we know that RCMP arrived approximately 10:15, we'll say, okay? So 10:15, and then Daniel and his mother are saying that Cindy arrived approximately 15 minutes after RCMP, which would take you to around 10:30, right? I was giving them some grace in my last video, touched on this and said between 10:30 and 11, but no, they're saying 10:30. So so here you can see, so Daniel's being asked, because we're all wondering, because we all went through these phases trying to figure out, well, where could the kids be? Could somebody that has known them put them in a car and took them and they're alive? Because you want the kids to be alive. It's like a last ditch effort of hope, right? That these kids can be alive. So my husband even said it to me, like everybody was, because you want them to be alive. So the question posed to Daniel, and this is very early on when this started, okay? It's not possible that they have the kids, is it? Because Daniel had been going on about Cindy's mother and trashing her. Um, and so Daniel says, it took the RCMP 12 minutes to arrive on site, and Malaya's mom was there a few minutes later. She lives 1 hour and 16 minutes away. You tell me if that's strange. Now, I talked about that in the other video I did, touching on this, and Mama Angie said, I don't remember, him pointing the finger at Cindy. So this is the receipts to back that up. And then he says, yes, to get Malaya away from me. It worked out, but hi guys, computer kicked me out again. It's gonna make me share screen again. Um, and that's why I'm trying to get through this fast, and I'm kind of talking fast. I'm not normally a fast talker. I'm actually a very slow talker, but I want to get through this. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm gonna get my son to take a look at it, because it's actually his girlfriend's computer that she let me use, and it's a really nice computer. They built it. They build computers, beautiful computers, but I think something needs to be updated in it. But anyways, let's get through this quick. Do, 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 do. Yes, so yeah, and it worked out. Okay. To get Malaya away from me, it worked out, but the truth will come out. Oh yes, it will, Daniel. Yes, it will. Yeah, those. There are some things that Daniel says that is true, and that would be one statement right there. Yeah, and then he says, now they are hiding, hoping all this blows over. But I'm not letting it. I'm doing everything I can for these kids, which, well, no, not really. She does no media. No, and guess what? She shouldn't be, because, when you're anyways, I think we all know what's going on there. with Malaya, and that she needs to stay quiet, and that it's to bring justice for her children. I believe she's fighting for justice for her children. That's my opinion. I know everybody has their own thoughts. Yeah, and when Daniel does media, what does he talk about? Daniel, 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 Daniel. Yeah, someone needs to speak out. Okay, so I will come over to your questions now. We'll try to get through them quickly before my computer kicks me out again. I'm wondering if it might be the heat up here too, because you already get enough heat from a computer, and then with the heat on upstairs on top of it is probably not good. Drippy. Hi, Drippy. Thank you for being here. Daniel is a pathological liar. 100%. Yes. Yes. I agree. And we're going to take a look at his mom, too. Ginger agrees. Yeah. Her crying for her sons was noticeable. Yes, I agree. I believe it was crying for her sons as well. I'm glad you think that. I hope that's what you're saying, because it didn't fool me any. People saying you have to get your box of Kleenex out. No, no, not me. I didn't need a box. I needed a box of Kleenex in pity of those poor kids in Malaya and what they must have been living with. And when you're in a relationship like that and you're not just dealing with the partner, you're dealing with the family. The family. You know what I'm saying? That is hard. And I have to say, like a lot of people say, well, she should have got out of there or whatever. Do you know how long women stay in relationships like that? They stay in those for years. Most women that tell their stories will say, into the teens, 20 years, till the kids grew up, moved out, and whatever, right? She was starting to reach out to people within the last couple of months before all of this took place. So she was making a pretty quick decision compared to many other women, not just women, men too. It goes both ways. Yeah, so, but I mean, typically we know it's women, right? Statistically. Yeah, her son's not Lilly&Jack. Yeah, I agree. She was also crying for herself. Absolutely, 100%. Oh yeah, for sure. Painting them all as victims. She def lied about fight with Haley. Yep. She tried to evade it, right? She didn't all of a sudden become deaf when Haley flipped out over the rug use. Yeah. Yeah, not only that, does that woman miss a trick going on that property? I mean, come on, right? Like, come on. I think we can all agree, right, that that is a woman who doesn't miss a trick to what's going on her property. Um, well, besides the fact that it's probably Daniel stealing because he's a rug addict, and that's what rug addicts do because they need money for the rugs. But somehow, either he's got her, I mean, we have to remember it's her son. So right off the bat, there's a barrier, right? And number two, he's an addict, and addicts have the people around them manipulate it, right? They're liars, and they wrap the people around them. They wrap them around their finger. They have them manipulated. That's the job of an addict, right? So they could be robbing you blind, but yet it's the neighbor down the street, right? Not saying that, that's in my opinion, because of course I don't have any evidence of that, but I'm just saying that's a typical scenario where there are phone records showing it was 10:01, I think, when she called. Oh, absolutely. That's 100%, right? I mean, and I just love this. I love it that they took these screenshots, right? And showed that no, that is not true. This is fact, right? Because that's fact. And the police would have this all too. It's evidence, right? I'm with you. It all adds up. Yeah. Good. I mean, good that I'm not crazy. And just thinking it all adds up. Daniel's habitual fibbing explains why the RCMP has brought in the behavioral science team from Ottawa, Ontario. Exactly. Yep. I'm pretty convinced the only reason Daniel knows the symptoms of psychopathy. Oh, yes. Sociopathy is I should know that word. I'm a nurse and I've worked in mental health, but I'm just having a brain fart. Is he's been accused in the past of being one, so has looked up the symptoms, now projects it onto others. I wouldn't doubt it at all, Drippy. I wouldn't doubt that one bit. Drippy, I have no sound. Oh, can you guys hear me now? Oh, okay, that's when the computer kicked me out. Sorry. Yeah. She will be back. Yeah. She's back. Apparently Nova Scotianers are fast talkers. Well, I'm from Nova Scotia and I'm actually typically not a fast talker. Um Maybe if I'm upset or something like that, but I'm actually from Pictou County. For any of you guys in here that don't know that, I'm from Pictou County. I'm from where Lily and Jack went missing. I'm about 15 minutes away. Yeah, so when I went to Europe, quite a few commented on how fast I talk, but I think I talk pretty normal for here. Yeah. Are you from from Nova Scotia, Drippy? Does anyone believe the rake swimming pool story? I do not believe that anybody's going to put a pool on gravel. Right away, I was like, I don't understand. You have a grass yard right there. It's a little kiddie pool. That's where the pool goes, right by the house on the grass. Fran, hello. Hi, Fran. Thanks for being here. No, Mike, we use sand for pool installs, not gravel. Yeah. I didn't need Kleenex when I listened to recordings. It just put me in a bad mood. Yeah. I was hoping her as a grandmom would put the kids before her sons or herself. No, God, no. No. Maybe if it was her own grandchildren, maybe she would. Who knows? And I'll tell you what's really weird. So I listened to that a couple of times. One of the channels I listened to it on is where Ginger mods. Um, excuse me, is Granny's Crime Busters. And Granny, she's a granny, she's older, and she has this very soft, kind, gentle voice. So she would be talking and then she would go over to Janie and it was just like that will put it into perspective for you. Like when it's different when you're listening to it from Dolly and then Dolly presses play, right? Because you're going from Dolly and his voice and his crazy silliness. But with Granny, you're going from real true soft sweet Granny and then she presses play to listen to Janie and it's like, oh. So if you want to get a real good perspective, that's where to go to listen to. Overbearing mother with a controlling son is concerning in my opinion. Yeah, exactly. Mike, do I believe they would do something stupid like putting raked gravel under a pool? Yeah, I do too. I think they are morons. But even before she said she was raking that for a pool, as soon as she said, that they said that they were getting a pool for the kids, and I didn't believe any of that. Like I just didn't realize. I was like, yeah, right, okay, yeah, mm-hmm. Did they that night? I don't know. They lie about so much. Exactly. Like I'm just the same with her now as I am with Daniel. And we're gonna get on to that. I think Justin is her favorite. Well, probably by the sounds of it. They are all liars. Yep. Yes, I live just outside of Windsor in Hants County. Oh, awesome. Is it hot there today? It's actually the cloudy here right now. The breeze feels a little bit nice coming through the window there. Okay, so now I have the notes from Janie that I pulled out of those audios on my phone. So I'm just gonna go over the notes that I pulled out, okay? I'm just gonna take a sip of my water here, and I'll be right back, okay? Just give me a second to have a drink of my water. That's funny, Drippy. Um, okay, so like I said, I'm not going to play it. I've listened to it and pulled a few points from it that stood out to me. And this is regarding the Janie audios. Overall, I think it's pretty clear that Janie is a difficult lady. There's a lot of similarities to the way her and Daniel speak of others, in that very negative light over minute and irrelevant things. Um, there's also similarities in the lies, which we're going to touch on. So, I pulled, I think it's about 6 points I pulled out of it. So point 1, and I have these written down, so I'm just gonna read them to you. Um, Janie states she asked Malaya how long Lily and Jack have been missing. This is the morning the kids went missing. Janie states Malaya answered 20 minutes. I just showed so I just showed you there where Malaya states to Belinda that Lily and Jack have been missing since 9:40. Um, so 9:40 plus the 20, we can all agree that takes you to 10 o'clock when Malaya calls 911. So none of that is false. And point 2, Janie states Malaya called 911 at 9:40. Now, because Janie knows that we have all this information between, text to text between people. I feel at first she was going to throw that out there as truth, and then she realized, oh, wait a minute, they have all those texts. And this is in my opinion, because I live in this community and I know how things work and I see how things work, and how we already saw what the whole dare wouldn't dare and thing, how all that crap's trying to be spread through this county to make people believe that this is the scenario that took place when it's not, right? That they were taken to um yeah, so where was I? Um Yeah, Daniel States Malay. Oh, yeah, so I kind of believe that, yeah, like if Janie was out in the community saying that, it was 9:40 that Malaya called 911. People would be believing that. And those that she did tell that to that aren't on the Facebook and stuff, they'd be believing it. But because all of this is going through Facebook and YouTube and things can be compared, we can see that none of that is true. Hi Sharon, thanks for being here. Sunny, hi Sunny, Sunny, working but listening, spraying face with water every few minutes. I bet you are. The heat waves, eh? Right straight through Canada. Um, yeah, so I think that because when you listen to her saying it, she says it, and then she goes, "Well, you can check the messages between her and Belinda and see." I'm pretty sure that's what it says. So it's almost like she kind of caught herself, like, um, but if none of this existed, I have no doubt in my mind that that's what should be going around the county spreading, and I'd be at work, if I still worked, hearing it. Oh no, Daniel's mother Janie said. Just in my opinion, again. 9:40, Daniel states Malaya's time. Yes, so where was I here? Janie states Malaya called 911 at 9:40. Daniel states Malaya's time of 10 a.m. is false. So again, so they're both going with the same storyline there, right? So Janie's, throwing it out there that 911 was called at 9:40. We know that's not true. We have the evidence to show that. I just showed you. Again, if we didn't have that, I'm pretty sure she'd probably be sticking to that story. Daniel stated that the 10 a.m. is false. Well, we know it's not. It's all true, but yet they're both telling a similar story. Point three, Janie states Cindy arrived 15 minutes, and she said this in these recordings. Janie states Cindy arrived 15 minutes after RCMP and that RCMP arrived around 10:15. So again, she's stating the same thing Daniel stated about Cindy. And then when Cindy put that text out, then she's trying to go, well, you can't even see the other head there. You can't even see the other head, where you should see Malaya. You can see Cindy, but you can't see Malaya. Well, that doesn't matter. I think we pretty much know it's Malaya, but like I said, even if it's the devil she's texting with, it's the timeline we're looking at. We're looking at the timestamps. And it's still not true what you're saying. So anyway, so again, her and Daniel telling the same storyline of fictional events, honestly. Um, yeah, so trying to indicate that Cindy's already in town because it takes Cindy an hour and 15 minutes to come from where she lives to here. And to Pictou County to where they live. And so obviously it's impossible for her to arrive in 15 minutes, but they're trying to indicate that she was already in town, right? So that's how they know that she took those kids. Point four, Janie states this one I'm like, yikes. Point four, Janie states, Justin and I found Daniel by the pipeline trail. We picked him up. Okay, on the four-wheeler. They found him down by the pipeline trail. So if anybody remembers, this is where the boot print and the blanket were found, right? So keep that in mind. Point five, Janie states it's not true that she heard Malaya go shh to Lilly&Jack when she heard them out in the backyard, when she supposedly heard them out in the backyard. I honestly have to put her in the same category as Daniel. I'm really not. Once you've proven to be untruthful to me, that's it. I can't believe anything you say. That's it. Yeah, when they were supposedly in the backyard that morning. So that was an outright lie, okay, on the behalf of Daniel and Deerwood. Now, I believe Janie was probably going to go with it. For what reason? Why? What reason in the whole world is there to lie about stuff like this in a two children missing, the case of two missing children? Sorry, I'm getting upset. Right? That's my question. Why? Like there's something wrong. There's something very wrong, right? So, and my question is, regarding Janie. Was this supposed to be a part of the fictional story being spun? Then Janie decided she was not going to go along with that part, because Janie did tell Belinda this in a phone call that she did. Janie told Belinda, and I 100% believe Belinda out of anybody. She is proven to be very factual. I think we can all agree she's a very kind soul who's caring about her grandbabies, wants to know what took place here, where are they, and she's fighting for justice. And I think we can all agree that she's telling the truth when she says she had a phone call with Janie, and Janie told her that on the phone, that she heard Belinda shushing the kids in the backyard that morning. And then all of a sudden, Janie changes her tune on that. So it just seems like she was decided she's not going with that fictional story, that part of the fictional story. In my opinion, point 6, Janie states she saw Malaya standing by her RV when she came out of the RV to see what was going on. This is when Daniel and Malaya were out looking for the kids. She never states she saw Malaya at the end of the driveway, where Malaya supposedly put Lily and Jack in the car. And I had questioned this hard earlier because, to me, I kind of figured out that the only time Malaya would have been out at the end of the driveway was when she had to, if she called the kids, which is what Daniel told Belinda, that she called the kids out of school that day, right? Sick. And you have to go to the end of the driveway to use the cell phone, because Belinda had to go to the end of the driveway to use the cell phone. So when Darewood started talking about that, I was like, well, yeah, because that would be when she would have to call the kids out of school, right? Around that time, which was around the time that the kids were called out of school. So that's the only time that it would make sense she would be out at the end of the driveway. So again, this would seem to be a falsehood from Daniel and Darewood as well. Excuse me. So all in all I can say is I put Janie in the same category as Daniel. I can't believe what she states. And I stated this way back in one of my videos when I just I hadn't even heard from Janie yet, but just listening like from Daniel and then the whole Darewood thing and then Logan. And I had talked about how it just seems this family has some kind of delusional thinking. They're not ticking like the rest of us. Their thinking isn't like the rest of ours. Yeah, so I'll come back over to the comments now and see what you guys have to say. So guys, when I had given credit to It's a Criming Shame, this is a criming shame. This is Sunny from A Criming Shame, and I will put her info, as I always do, in my description box, okay? So you can find her there. Great channel. Check it out. Pretty much all the receipts most of us get are from Sunny. So hey, y'all. So hot. Yeah, I know. Right across the country. Oh, just played out there anyways. Quote from Loving Grandmom. I can't stand, oh, I know. I can't stand Lily's loud scream. Can you imagine? Oh my God, when my little grandbaby's here and he lets out that screech, we all laugh. We all laugh. Like, oh my gosh. If you watched her birthday party, I did, the way she screamed, could you stand Lily's scream? Oh yeah, I know she said that. I know. I know. No. Oh, like it just breaks my heart. Oh, what I would have did was probably went over and picked Lily up and cradled her in my arms and gave her a kiss on her cheek and said, "Endure voice, honey, endure voice." Like, Sharon, Sunny, how do you sleep without AC? I thought she got her AC fixed. Or she got a new one or something. So Cindy shows up hours before police was called. I know. Why even lie about that? Because I know. I know. Like this is like when I mean, in my opinion, obvious I mean, there's no other reason why to lie except that you're hiding something. And when RCMP get these people, like I hope they throw the book at them for all this shit. I mean, there's 2 missing small children, and these idiots, and I like to say that now because where Darewood was slinging that out at people and calling people idiots, like, how dare you? Like, how dare you? Look at yourselves. Look at yourself and the folks you're chumming with, the whole group of yous. Like, you'd have to be an idiot to do these things and guilty of something. They are just digging themselves into a deeper hole. Exactly. Obstruction of justice. And the only reason you'd be doing that is that you're guilty of something. Hi, Eliza. Thanks for coming back. They can't script their story as much as they want. Yeah. But the facts will unravel the lies and unveil the truth. Yep. It seems like Janie was irritated with Malaya. I 100% agree. Had a so-called family reunion. Oh, I know. Can you imagine? Because they had some sandwiches and they weren't even out searching. Well, okay, first of all, wasn't it her family that found the blanket that your family's trying to blame them for putting there in the first place? So they put it there and found it. So, and I mean, it sounds like her family was out searching. From the sounds of it, it sounds like it was her mom, the grandmother, and the 2 aunts that were there with Malaya in the home. And then there was some people that showed up as well from the indigenous community to do a prayer circle. But you can't expect everybody out there to be searching, and especially when the police have already told you they don't want you out there. You're all suspects. They don't want you out there. You're a suspect. Get the hell away from where we're trying to search for the kids and do our investigation. But they made damn sure they were out there. And Malaya was told to stay at the home in case the kids came back. So, do you not think Malaya needs support in that time? Should she be sitting back there by herself, or should she have a little bit of family surrounding her in support? But that family doesn't understand that. They're like I'm saying, their thinking is delusional. They're not ticking like the rest of us. And I mean, saying they were laughing and stuff. Well, you have a baby that's just over a year old there. I can tell you what my grandson's like. He's doing silly stuff all the time. So, I mean, it's hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? They probably felt guilt if the baby would have been doing something that was making them chuckle, but still you have to entertain that child. And, so I mean, I'm just throwing that out there because I'm sure that's part of what they might have been chuckling at, was a baby of that age because they're funny and they're silly and they make you laugh. But anyways, it's just we all know with our mentality, our morals, and our common sense that that's all just a bunch of foolishness. Drippy. Oop, that's what I said last year before I got the new 8K one. Yeah. I think Janie knows both her sons are culpable. Yeah, maybe. Definitely Daniel for sure. Yes, going to get another AC. Oh, okay, you're yeah, oh I know. They're not cheap. The ones that we get though are not too expensive and they work pretty good. Um Eliza Knockwood, her and her spawn, Daniel, demonizes every action of Malaya. Yep. and her family. And that's what I'm saying. It's so unnecessary and uncalled for. Like they ate sandwiches and woo, yeah, you're getting demonized for that one. I'm pretty sure I heard Janie say there in one of the recordings I listened to that she went and had her lunch. It's just ridiculous. Family acting supportive is, yeah, warped into a family reunion. Exactly, Drippy. Okay, so it's not just me. Um, using cell is right. Playing on a phone. Yeah, I know. That's probably when she was calling 911 when he was saying she was playing on her phone. I think the children died there. Yeah, I think it's a possibility, and then taken off the property. Then Daniel and his brother loaded the ATV into the truck bed. Never thought of that one. Is there a truck? I'm pretty sure their vehicles are closed in the back, like they're like a type of vehicle. Like they're not a car, but they're what do you call those? I can't think of what type of vehicle you call them, but they're it's I don't think it has a bed, like an open bed truck, unless Justin does. But the kid put the kids in the truck and took them to dispose of them. They left the property inside a vehicle. Um, yeah, possible, eh? I think anything's possible. I try not to go there yet until because it just, yeah, I try not to think of that yet, but I hear you. Not that my mind doesn't go there, but I got to pull myself back to here until we get there. Um, at Renee Kennedy, possible, but Daniel could have done it alone. Yeah, because they're just small babies. I don't think M could have done it alone. I don't think they did anything together. All topics. Hi, welcome to the chat. Thanks for being here. Raven, thank you for being here. Do you have seat belts on your school buses? Does anybody know that? Because my kids are grown. I'm 53. My kids don't get on the school bus anymore. They're grown up babies. You guys probably already answered that question. I don't understand how this Darren person became involved. He wasn't on the property when the children disappeared, or was he? Yeah, who knows? Who knows? I know when those conversations with Sonny, there was a little blurb there that he had said, I've been out to that place before. And then he went on to something else. But like, who knows? Like I say, birds of a feather flock together. And that's all I keep in my mind when it comes to, right? Like Darren's son, Daniel, the whole shenanigans and being here from Pictou County and just kind of knowing certain things. But facts, I can't say 100% sure, but all I can say is, I feel birds of a feather flock together. In my opinion, the only one who was outside very early that morning was Janie. Yeah. Well, we know Malay called the kids, well, unless it was a text, but Daniel told Belinda, that it was a phone call, but, Christ knows with him, but, um, and when you have to make a phone call, you have to go out to the end of the driveway. So, I don't think so, but I could be wrong. Been a long time since I've been on one. Yeah, the school buses. I watch Sunny every day. That's how I found you. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I pretty much catch her at night. Sometimes I fall asleep early and then I'll wake up. I wake up a few times just with some pain. And then I'll check my tablet and sometimes Sunny's on and then I'll stay up and watch her for a bit and then I fall back asleep. And then sometimes I don't get to watch her till the morning. Renee, I straight up believe those children with put in that fire Colchester were put in the fire in Colchester County. It's not uncommon for us to have fires around here. Um, like, in fact, that just meant nothing to me because that's typical every year that happens. In fact, we've had less this year than we have any other year, but 64 kilometers away on Old Pictou Road, it burned the whole first week. They were missing. There are fragments of bones and teeth. They are they are fragments of bones. Are you saying there's fragments of bones and teeth found in that fire? I didn't hear that. I'm not quite sure what you're saying there. They are fragments of bones and teeth. Or you're just saying that's what's left of the children. Oh, I hate thinking stuff like that. Yet, until we hear anything to confirm that. But that's not unusual, those fires that time of year at the beginning of spring. Yeah. Yeah, I found you via It's Crime and Shame as well. Yeah, thank you. Interesting, Renee, on the CTV video, the RCMP say they brought in a remains identification team. Hmm. Okay. I didn't hear anything about that stuff. My interpretation of the RCMP statement of with certainty is they have a working theory of what happened and trying to get enough evidence so there can be there can be no reasonable doubt whatsoever. I agree. Yep. Yep. I agree. I reported that to the RCMP back in May and told they told they were something thought they'd find trail cam footage of the ATV. I really do believe it. Oh. Oh. Hmm. You're thinking that they think that they might find some old trail cam footage there that shows somebody on the ATV. Yeah, I mean, I know where Old Pictou Road is. None of any of that is too far from me. Like, uh, when we go to get our pizza that we order or Chinese food, we drive on that road to go get the Chinese food, my husband and I. I don't think any of the family should have been out searching. Oh, they shouldn't have been. That's why the RCMP were saying, like, to let them do what they were doing. And then, like Belinda had said, they told them certain areas that they didn't mind them looking because that would be areas they already searched and didn't think that the kids were there or whatever. But that would have been probably after the first day. And that across the road was a no-no. Well, it's across the road where they found Daniel and where they were going on the ATV. That's that road and the pipeline trail and all that is across the road, down the road. So, um, yeah, it's just, yeah. But as you can tell, they don't really respect what anybody else is saying. They're very controlling and overbearing. And they shouldn't have been out. They shouldn't have been out doing that because everyone on that property is a suspect. Anybody who is thought of as a suspect should never be out just wandering around, you know. I think in cases of young children with no witnesses, all cases should be treated as a criminal case. Yep. Until proven otherwise. Yep. Yep. Eliza, it's easy to judge when you've never been owned, silenced, or threatened. I know the signs. I see her. Yep. I see her too. I sure do. I do too. I think a lot of us women can see what's going on, you know. I hope men too. I hope men can too. Like it bothers me. I had one person write in the comments there that you know, why would like he was quite upset that I was, you know, insinuating, how dare I, that Melinda was or Melinda Malaya was dealing with, you know, domestic abuse or DV and wanted to know why. Where would I ever come up with that? And I'm thinking, if you can't see that by now, like, if that scares me, whoever you are, Dave. So I touched on it there a little bit. But anyways, it just like, yeah, these kids have been haunting me since May 1st. Yep. Seriously, I went running to the police with information and then they contacted me. I told them the kids are in the fire. Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah, I know it's been haunting a lot of us. I know like the first little bit I couldn't sleep and because it bothered me because where it was so cold that first week and I thought like sometimes we have a really nice early spring and it just wasn't this year. And I was like, why? Why does it have to be so cold? Like there was nights where it went down just slightly below zero. And that was the first week they were looking for them. And the wind and the rain was terrible. And like I wake up with pain anyways, but when I'd wake up, my thoughts would be going right to them thinking, oh my gosh, are they still out there in the cold? Like, because it just bothers you to think that those two little babies are out there in the cold. Hi, blue. I was gonna say blue nose, blue rose, blue rose ramblings. Thanks for being here, and I like the picture of your blue rose. At funerals, children lighten the store, lighten the sorry. Yes, exactly. The sorrow. Yeah. Okay. Exactly. Exactly. Um, Drippy, Adeliza Knockwood. Yeah, well said, Eliza. Very well said. Fran, was bones and teeth really found in that fire? Well, you have to ask. I think it's Renee that's saying that. I know I'm from here. I didn't hear anything about that. What fire? And we get fires here. Well, I think everywhere does, but I mean, it's not anything we're, it's not common to us here in spring. Um, there's just these spot fires all over the county, and there was one on Old Pictou Road, which isn't uncommon that this time of year. So to me, it just meant nothing because I'm from here and that's just the norm. But I guess people think there's something sinister going on there with that fire and that there was bones and teeth found. I'm from here. I haven't heard that. That would be determined after lab testing. Fran, oh my God. But Fran, where are you getting that from? Like who's telling you that there was bones and teeth there? Or Renee, sorry. Like I'm not like like it's not good to state something if it's not fact, right? Like I'm not understanding where you got that from because when you wrote up above it had a bunch of V's in it and I couldn't really understand what you were saying. Um because you can only speak fact, right? Really. So if it was out in the news that there was a fire here and on Old Pictou Road and there was bones and teeth found in it, then we'd all be talking about it. But I'm from here. Nobody's heard any of that. And it wouldn't take that long. Yeah. Like that fire was ages ago. It wouldn't take that long to confirm that those are Lily and Jack's by now and arrest somebody because that would be very incriminating, right? So I'm just having a hard time with that one. Sorry. At Renee, when were the remains found? Let's not run with that as fact, though, right? Because I'm kind of skeptical of what I'm hearing here myself. There was a wildfire burning the whole first week the kids were missing. Now, I don't know if it was the whole first week because I'll have to look that up and gather some facts because I'm from here. And to be burning for a whole week, that would have to be a little worse than the fires that we usually have here that are put out pretty quick. And that would have been news, right? That fire's still burning. 5 hectares destroyed. Five's not a lot. Well, hectares, yeah, maybe. 64 kilometers away on Old Pictou Road. Okay. So that's not unusual here. At Renee Kennedy, yes. I have been thinking of that, and the Tatamagouche fire too. Well, yeah, again, that's not unusual. None of that's unusual. Hi, Claire. Thanks for being here. Hello, Nova. How are you doing? I'm doing good. I hope you're doing well. I'm new to your channel. I found you from It's a Criming Shame. Well, thanks for being here. Prayers for Jack and Lily. And hello to Sunny. Yep. Prayers for Jack and Lily, 100%. Yeah. And hi to Sunny. But yeah, we're here for Jack and Lily, 100%, right? Excuse me. Fran, they'd have to test the burned fragments. The children would be cremated ash. They burned a whole week. But Renee, you're talking about it like it's fact, right? Like you can't talk about that like it's fact. It's something that it's in your opinion. So if you can put when you're writing those statements, in my opinion, I feel that that fire was set to burn the kids, so I reported it to our CMP. It sounds like you're stating something as fact, right? We are the same age, Nova. About 7 years ago, a kid in the back seat stood up and gave me the finger out the back window at a stoplight. So I'm thinking they don't have seat belts. Well, they didn't when I didn't take the bus when I was a kid. We walked to school in storms and all. They have buses now in the town I grew up in, but they didn't back in the day. And so I can't even, well, we did school trips and we had to go on the bus. There was no seat belts then. Hi, Mama Angie. I answered some of your questions you had. I don't know if you were here the whole time, but if you weren't, just make sure to go back because I answered some questions you had there about not remembering about Daniel. Oh gosh, I can't even remember what it was now. I knew when I read it, I remembered that you had asked about it, but I answered it for you. I mention it as I'm doing it that you had a question about it. Hey, Mama Ange, Q-Drippy. It's a big production. Think Robert Picton's firm. But that was how he was convicted too. Bits of bones and teeth. Yeah. But again, there's no Did I freeze again? Can you guys hear me? I froze again. I think. Maybe not. Can you guys still hear me? Okay, there. I think it's working now. Okay. I got to go back up here and it froze for a bit. Okay, listen, I reported my beliefs to police and they contacted 3 times after. I believe I told them truth. Yeah, that's fine that I get what you're saying, that if you feel that and you call the RCMP, but I'm saying here in this chat, when you're saying something like that, say IMO, and then after that, say what you're saying. And then people know that it's in your opinion, it's not fact. So it's not like you just read this in the newspaper that because that's why somebody else is going, "Oh my God, really? They found bones and teeth?" Because they're thinking that that's fact, that this is something that just happened. It's breaking news when it's not. So, and so respectfully, please put in my opinion, IMO. I noticed Janie talked about the kids in pretense. Um, did she? I didn't catch that, and to be honest with you, there's no way I'm going back to to listen to it again. I just can't. Uh, uh, okay. Renee Kennedy, this could be the kids. I'm in tears. Yeah, but Fran, um, it's not, it's in her opinion. Okay. So keep that in mind. Uh, I see her too. I bet his new girlfriend has small kids. I know she has kids, but I could care less about his girlfriend and that whole situation. That's up to her as an adult to make proper decisions. At Renee Kennedy, likely she has children, and given their ages, they would be young, I would think. Something wrong with her. Why get involved? Yeah. Aaron, Lindsay, O'Mara. It's all but been confirmed. Darren said that Daniel hit Jack. Yes. Yeah. And he's not the only one that said that. Yep. Yeah. And I mean, I have two problems with that. If they're having learning problems and they're saying, oh, they're possibly autistic, you just don't do that. You don't. And I mean, you don't do it at all anyways, but and then um Malaya, it wasn't her style of discipline, and she's the mother. And that wasn't my style of discipline. And when my husband and I divorced, it wasn't his style of discipline either. Not saying that my kids didn't get the odd slap on their butt, but I can tell you it was like two. The youngest, I don't think he ever. The oldest, twice. But the uh, like so when my husband that I'm with now, him and I got together and my kids were 7 and 8, I made that clear to him. And he knew. Like, and those are my kids. And if he loves me and he wants to be with me, he's going to respect my rules on disciplining my children. Because that's what you do. And yeah, apparently Daniel didn't respect that, and that's not right. And was it beyond just a slap on the bum too, right? I kind of feel it was. Um, Fiddlehead season. I love fiddleheads. Past tense, she talked about them. I didn't pick up on that. I didn't pick up on it. Um, and like I said, I'm not going to go back and listen to it. I believe you, though. I believe that you heard that. Renee Kennedy, as someone else put it, some people look for love in jail. Yep. God is great. Beer is good. And people are crazy. Yeah, I agree. Valerie. Hi, Valerie. I know how you feel. It's hard to listen to the first. It really is heartbreaking. Um, yeah, it was big enough to make the news in Ontario. I didn't hear about it. I'm in Ontario. Yeah, I didn't. Anyways, we're gonna drop that topic. I'm saying that yeah, we're not even gonna go, we're gonna stop talking about that because it's not fact. So uh she referred to Meadow as it. Oh, okay. Damn. Yes, please check it out. Please check what out? Sorry, I missed it. One thing I wanted to tell you is that I was able to ban, Darewood from this group, from the yeah, from my chats. So, unless he comes in under another name, uh, we won't have to put up with him. Well, I don't think she referred to her as an animal. I think that was an accident. I think she accidentally said that, um, which I hate to stick up for any of that family, but I did hear that, and I think she meant to say Lily, and that screaming from Lily would upset any animal, which she didn't have to say. That just that coming out of her mouth in itself was wrong, but I don't think she meant to call her an animal. Lola, hi Lola. Thanks for being here. Since you're from there, do you all call a four-wheeler a motorcycle? No, I didn't hear anybody call it a motorcycle. We call it a four-wheeler or an ATV, which is an all-terrain vehicle, right? Back road. Um, I've never heard anybody call a four-wheeler a motorcycle here. Never. Motorcycle is two wheels. That's around here. I never heard anyone call an ATV a motorcycle. No, I haven't either. No, not around here. I haven't. If somebody said that, I don't think they would have been from here because nobody around here calls an ATV a motorcycle. They call it a four-wheeler or an ATV. Mom Angie, I'm on my phone today, so I'm back and forth. My mom broke her arm. Aw, sorry. Sending lots of love. So we're looking after her. Yeah. Gosh, what a bad time too to break any kind of bone and have a cast on. Not good. Um, I'll check it out. Thanks. Yeah. Yep. Your poor mama. Hope she gets better. Yeah. That's sad. So, yeah, so everybody's sending you lots of love there. Hi, Anon. Thanks for being here. Try my I feel like my computer's gonna go kaput again here any minute because the buttons are sticking. You're having coffee on this hot, hot, hot day. um, you hear me good. Yeah, it was just the buttons that were sticking, and I was scared I was gonna freeze again. Eliza. Mama Angie, sorry to hear about your mom's arm. I had to rush my mom to the hospital last night in the middle of Sunny's Live. Aw. God bless our elder parents and their caregivers. Yes. Yeah, 100% agree. My mother's not in the greatest condition either, but I'm not either. So, but she's in worse shape than I am for sure. But yeah, she's got a lot of issues going on, my mom, and she's on that damn prednisone, and that is awful, awful, awful. I'm a new sub. I'm glad I found your channel. Thank you, Lola. I did say that. Oh, you said you called it a motorcycle, or I don't know. I don't know if that's what you meant. I think she means past tense. Yeah, I knew. Yeah, I thought that's what she meant. Yeah. Hugs to your mom, Eliza. That's why I kept talking about it, trying to keep telling her. And yes, Janie did talk about them in the past tense, despite saying she believed they are alive. Yeah. Yeah, I don't believe none of that nonsense. And just even the crying, she was reflecting back to her son crying because she started crying. And as soon as she said, and Justin was crying, and she was thinking of him crying, and she just the reflection back to that. is why she was crying. She wasn't crying over the kids. 100%. And Janie repeated what Dee said. Yep. And goes on being M and D was none of my business, despite knowing very much what was going on. Yes, I agree. I know. And I hate that. I hate that. Like, it's so old thinking. It's like, oh, God. Like, no, none of my business if a man's beating his wife. I mean, I'm being extreme, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it just sickens me. It is very obvious none of them respected Malaya. Yep. And her motherhood. I agree. Yep. 100%. Yep. Their brains just don't tick that way. Yes. And Grandma B says Malaya was a gentle, yes, soft-spoken mother with patience of a saint. Yep. Exactly, Nova. And that's exactly what I picture too of her. Yep. And I mean, yeah, it just breaks my heart. Yeah. So I'm going to go down and say hi to the newer ones coming in because there's quite a long list here and I'm not going to get through all the messages and we're getting at an hour and a half. So I just want to make sure I didn't miss any highs to some newcomers. Sally. Where in Ontario? I'm from also from Ontario, southwestern Ontario, about 30 from Lake Erie. And I like the picture of the horse, Sally. Is that two? Yeah, that's two horses. Cute. And I said hi to Aaron. House. I was going to say house milk, but house music. Music. Okay. Hi. Hi, house music. And I like your picture too. That's cool. Thank you. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for being here. And Carla, thank you for being here. Here in Newfoundland, we call them four quad. Yeah, I've heard my husband say that too. A quad or a four-wheeler. Yeah, I've heard that too. My husband's had them and motorbikes. And I will say, he's always kept his four-wheeler clean and his motorbike. Like that four-wheeler, like it didn't have a mark on it. It was spick and span and it was cleaned as soon as it was taken home. I mean, we're pretty clean people though, I have to say. But like men are funny like that with their four-wheelers. They keep them, well, probably any owner of a four-wheeler, but honestly, during a period of looking for a child, two missing children, I probably wouldn't be too focused on it, especially when it's just dust from the road. And I doubt my husband would either. That wouldn't be his first thought, to clean the bike. He'd be so focused on the kids. I heard Janie refer to the ATV as a bike, which someone might say. Yeah. Yeah, I did hear her say bike too. I've heard people call them bikes. Hi, Ben. Welcome to the channel from Cornwall, UK. Aaron, Valerie, Anon, Renee, Blue Rose, Fran. I know, I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Mark. Hi, Mark. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming back. Drippy. I think I said hi to you all. I don't think I missed anybody. So I think I'm going to wrap it up for today, guys. Thanks for being here. And Eliza says, thanks, Drippy, for that clarity of the bike. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for being here. Thanks for coming back. Don't exit until you see the outro because it lightens the mood up before you exit the door. Okay? So lots of love, everyone. Lots of positive vibes. Thanks for being here. Take care. And I'll see you again, maybe tomorrow, okay? Maybe. If not, probably the next day. Take care, everyone. Bye.